Good morning, Justin.
Morning, Ray.
Great to have the opportunity to meet up and talk and I suppose have a look and see how we got on last year, and I suppose from your own perspective as well, Intact Software, and I suppose the interaction you've had with the forum to date, understanding that you're chair of the forum, and obviously we always thank you for that, but from your company needs that have been identified over the last year or so, how did you find the forum was able to help you?
Well, I guess I probably took advantage of being in the forum and really leveraged the connections that the forum has given us, that we've had the opportunity to sit with the heads of the schools in the DKIT of the business department and of the computing department, and really help or certainly give our input into them, into how they shape the actual program for the future. So programmatic reviews at the DKIT or any of the Institute of Technologies tend to happen every 5 years, so we wanted to make sure that local industry providers, and we gathered 7-8 companies from the region and brought them together with the heads of the department and really let them give their input into how they felt the programmatic review should go for the particularly the computing department. So I guess we've been very fortunate to be able to leverage the forum and our membership of the forum to get really close connections with the likes of the DKIT. They do a programmatic review every 5 years, and Intact Software, along with 7 or 8 other local technology companies, had the opportunity to sit with the heads of the schools. Yes. And actually feed into their plans for the programmatic review going forward. So fantastic. That's a huge opportunity for us going forward, because then our graduates in the coming years will be more relevant to our business.
More job ready.
Absolutely.
Well, Justin, absolutely, and that's music to my ears. Obviously, as Regional Skills Forum Manager, that's absolutely music to my ears, because I suppose that's our core objective. It really is about trying to create awareness of what the forum does in our region. It's also about, and hopefully through this podcast video, it's about attracting new industry to engage with us.
Of course, yes. I mean, many industry people and many industry leaders have connections with 1 or 2 providers in the area. Yes. But ultimately the forum will open up a conduit to all the providers and people that they don't even know about. So quite often if you're looking for skills or provision of skills, you tend to Google it and you get private providers instead of the actual local providers, the public service providers. So that's really something that having engagement with the forum will actually open up the eyes of the industry to what's actually available.
Exactly. And then of course with the makeup of a forum, it encompasses so many government departments and state agencies and training and education providers, be it the local ETBs in Cavan and Monaghan, education and training boards I should identify, the local Institute of Technology, and also SkillNets. Yes. We have such a wide range of training and education providers who, through that discussion and that collaboration with industry, can identify the solution and provide the changes or a new course if that's required.
Yeah, no, there's been huge examples and hugely positive outcomes from these engagements that we've seen all across Louth, Cavan and Monaghan, where you see industries really getting together with the providers and really providing proper outcomes and proper positive inputs into their own businesses. And it helps them with their planning of future headcount as well, making sure that they have a workforce that keeps them relevant and keeps the local people relevant as well, who really want to get jobs in local industry, instead of having to do that commute every single day to and from Dublin or to and from different regions. We are close enough to get to Dublin, so we really need to attract those people back into the region, and by having them upskilled and relevant and job ready, it makes things much more easy.
Absolutely, that's a very, very important point. I suppose we are strategically placed in terms of, Louth, Cavan and Monaghan is equidistant between, Belfast and also Dublin, and a large portion of our learners or employees and people that live in our region do commute a lot to those particular areas. So I suppose that the forum can in some shape or form help to upskill individuals to maybe come back to where they live to work.
Absolutely, yeah.
I suppose again, when we look at the forum and the makeup of the forum, we have such wide-ranging membership, whether it be the enterprise agencies like Enterprise Ireland, IDA, and also the local enterprise offices. We have a huge wealth of intelligence in terms of the companies that are in our area, and also, I suppose, the flow and the migration of the workforce as well. Department of Social Protection also has its employer engagement unit. So it is very beneficial for a company like yours or others who maybe wish to be part of the forum to be involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like from when we got engaged and from any of the current industry people on the forum, I mean, they had an hour-long meeting, even a 30-minute long meeting with you to talk through some of their skills needs, encourage them to come to the forum, sit in, have engagement with other people on the forum, and really understand what's available in the region, because there's a wealth of opportunities locally here that we just do not take that advantage and use it, whereas we really should.
Absolutely. If I was to ask you again, just as part of our discussion and meeting up, and as we work together closely, what has worked well so far? Maybe what hasn't worked well? What do we need to improve as we look into the new year?
I think companies in the region need some signposting as to what is available to them. I think what has worked well is that the people who have got engaged have made direct connections with people who they can actually add value to their own business directly. So I think that's something that really works well. There's also an open forum for discussion to inform people as to what's happening in the region. But that networking opportunity exists as well. So you get people from the same or similar disciplines who can actually connect and even do business.
Exactly. And I suppose come back, that awareness, that's an important aspect of what we need to do, is get the good word and spread the word out there to industry. And I suppose it's incumbent upon us as well as forum members and all of the other forum members to suppose contribute to doing that.
Yeah.
It's so much about partnership, it's so much about collaboration, and it's so much about spreading the word. It's not about just, I suppose, your own piece, it's about working together.
Absolutely. We need to strengthen the local communities here, and skills provision and education has for decades and for centuries been proven to really strengthen local communities. So we really need to make sure that we're at the core of that.
Absolutely. And at the moment, I suppose our region, Cavan, Monaghan and Louth, is pretty vibrant. You know, there's good news stories coming here.
There's lots of diversity as well in the region.
There is huge diversity. We cross-sectoral, multi-organisations in terms of, you know, manufacturing, construction, transport and logistics, food, hospitality.
Local indigenous, foreign direct investment, all of those all add in and create a really diverse, vibrant community.
Exactly, and if that community can work together, it can only be good for a region.
Absolutely.
And that's what the forum is essentially trying to do.
Yep.
And benefit and float, I suppose, all ships.
Yep.
Just again, talking about this year, I suppose the focus might be very much on construction. There's a shortage of talent in construction, transport and logistics as well. Don't want to mention the Brexit word, but I suppose that particular sector might be vulnerable. So again, we look at transport, logistics, distribution, warehousing, also manufacturing.
Yes, low margin industry like food as well is also something that we have deep involvement with as well. So yes. We want to make sure we're trying to provide the skills for the right people. So of course that's high on our agenda, but ultimately we need more people feeding into the forum, and it's very easy to say that, well, we're not getting the right skills in the local region. It's more difficult to get involved and actually say, well, this is the type of people that we think, these are the type of skills, these are the competencies that we need in the area.
Yes. And
then enable the skills providers to actually engage and for them to provide that.
Absolutely. And in your own sector, ICT, I mean, there's huge, I suppose, numbers employed in ICT, particularly around Dublin, but this region can be just as attractive.
Absolutely you can, yeah. I mean, we've got some fantastic communication infrastructure here. I mean, we're not that far from Dublin. We have a lot of people from Dublin actually working here because they choose that the reverse commute is actually much simpler than the commute to Dublin. So exactly. That's a hugely positive thing too. So, but ideally we'd like to be employing local people in local industry, and making sure that they have the right skills to get engaged with employers.
Fantastic. And come back to your specific, I suppose, requirement. Data analytics was one of those particular areas where you wanted to see strengthened in our local region, and that working in partnership with DKIT bore fruit. Yeah,
so we encouraged the DKIT to introduce a data analytics course, and it was oversubscribed by 3 times, I think, the first time that they put it on. So it just showed that having industry engaged with the providers helps to make sure that the talent being produced is relevant.
It's up to date, it's relevant.
It is, yeah.
That's fantastic. Absolutely.
It's not just about current, it's also about future. And no matter how big or small your business is, I mean, we're not looking to go into somebody and say, well, how many people are you going to employ in the next 5 years? That's not really what it's about. we really like to know the skills that you feel your industry is going to need in the next 2 or 3 years. And as a result of that, you end up getting potential people who could be employees for your business.
And isn't that such an important point that you raised, that skills and the relevant skill set that people have is changing almost daily? New technologies, Industry 4,
absolutely,
the future work, how it will look like.
Yeah, my kids are young enough probably to have 3 careers in their life. So that continuous professional development is always going to be there for them. They're going to need, do one career, then they probably have to learn about something different that's going to go off on a slight tangent. So, we need to make sure that we're encouraging our workforce to get engaged with those programs.
And they're equipped with
the skills needs and to enjoy lifelong learning. And some people aren't good at learning when they're young, but actually when they get that a bit older, that they become much better at it. And that's something that I've seen quite a lot, even in our business, that people have really got engaged in later life learning. So it's been really positive.
Lifelong learning is so important, and I mean, if I can just build upon that, if again I can encourage people to have a look at our website, regionalskills.ie, they will see the Explore programme, which is really about encouraging people who are far removed from the lifelong learning, I suppose, progression, that pathway. And it's about giving simple productivity skills, increasing their digital literacy, and it just gets them on that ladder whereby maybe they'll progress.
Of course,
in education and training.
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing computing isn't just a single discipline anymore. Computing happens across all disciplines. So whether you're a warehouse operator, whether you're driving a forklift, whether you're a C-level executive, everybody's job has, for the most, a significant usage of technology at some point. So it's important that we're keeping those people engaged and upskilled.
Fantastic. I suppose, Justin, from my perspective, again, and having worked closer to you, and I always value, I suppose, your industry input and influence on what we do. From a manager's perspective, I'm just wondering if you had a message to people listening to this video podcast, what do you think the message would be in terms of to the forum members, perhaps, number 1, and number 2, industry engagement, people, looking in?
I think that people who would get engaged would be pleasantly surprised to see the level of willingness and ability amongst some of the people who are providing skills in the region, and their desire to actually get closely engaged. I mean, there tends to be quite a lot of cynicism unfairly pointed at providers or public service workers. I think that sometimes there's a certain cynicism or a stigma surrounding public service provisions of skills, and I think that anybody getting engaged and sitting down and talking to the people, they are very, very capable. They are very interested in engaging, and they really want to make a difference to local industry. They really want to be providing people with the right skills.